This is Nightline. Tonight, betting billions? From Taylor Swift's wedding date to the winner of Survivor, and even a leader's takedown. So-called prediction markets let users bet on everything.
Culture, entertainment, movies, songs.
It is ripe for abuse.
But experts say some of those making bank are betting on what they already know.
How do you find the neighbor, the cousin, the person who fielded a tip from an insider and they're trading? And so here, click into a specific alert.
For the first time ever, we bring you inside the room where one company tries to sniff out the cheaters. But are they doing enough?
What about your enforcement actions? How many have you taken?
Plus, Brendan Fraser and Andrew Scott. Fraser known for blockbusters like The Mummy.
Mummies.
Teaming up with the Fleabag star.
It'll pass.
In a stormy D-Day story on the silver screen.
The storms that I'm talking about are real.
Hear how the Oscar winner transformed his look this time to get into character.
Did it help you get into the right headspace?
It made me more aerodynamic.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. For the first time ever, we take a look inside the room where investigators are trying to catch the cheaters in their prediction markets, sometimes pocketing millions on a single wager. Users betting on everything from pop culture events to war strategy, raising concerns about bettors with special access using their status to game the system. Just this week, a Google employee arrested for allegedly using inside information to pocket more than $1 million. Are prediction markets the future of business, or is it just ripe for insider trading? Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky.
On prediction markets,
Culture, entertainment, movies, songs.
Americans are betting on everything from sports to politics to culture.
There's markets on Kalshi for everyone.
Sites like Kalshi and Polymarket let you wager on everything.
Taylor.
From Taylor Swift's wedding date to the chances of an Iran nuclear deal. From the frivolous to the weighty, these markets are now facilitating billions of dollars in bets or trades each week. But critics say they're vulnerable to insider trading.
No one should be able to use insider information to line their own pockets.
It is ripe for abuse.
Suspiciously well-timed trades on politics, the Nobel Prize, and the war in Iran beg the question, are these markets too easy to cheat?
What's at stake in this room?
The integrity of our markets.
For the first time, Kalshi let reporters into the room where a team is trying to identify trades based on inside information.
It's hard to police in all markets. How do you find the neighbor, the cousin, the person who fielded a tip from an insider and they're trading?
Robert Denault leads Kalshi's digital detectives, working on those questions around the clock.
There's a lot of Red Bull consumed in this office, almost alarming amount.
These are alerts that your system is generating or that are coming in from the public?
No, these are alerts that our internal systems, our internal algorithms are running over the market and generating as potential insider trading or spoofing or market manipulation.
For Kalshi, integrity is a key part of its message.
And so here, click into a specific alert.
Kalshi says it launched more than 200 investigations last year and has already surpassed that many in the first half of 2026. The results have been slow.
What about your enforcement actions? How many have you taken?
So far, 5.
5 doesn't sound like a lot.
It's only been less than 2 years that we've been a pretty prolific trading exchange, and we already have enforcement actions to point to, and trust me, there's more to come.
One of those cases involved betting on the winner of Survivor.
Welcome to the final tribal council for Survivor 50.
It's a show that airs months after it tapes, making it a ripe target for people aware of the outcome. Online sleuths noticed bettors on Kalshi had predicted the winner with remarkable accuracy.
I think there's a lot of reporting on Reddit and other websites about what might unfold on a particular season of Survivor, and so it drives traders to make particularly confident trades, but it doesn't mean that they necessarily have material non-public information.
Kalshi says it has referred dozens of potential insider trading cases to the federal agency that regulates the markets, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, run by Chairman Michael Selig, an avowed advocate of prediction markets.
So rather than having, some elites in, ivory towered, we have an aggregated wisdom of the crowds, and that's really valuable for everyone in our country.
Seelig sits alone on a commission that typically has 5 seats, giving him unusual authority over these markets. And he's fighting states to keep that power at the federal level.
Why don't you want the states involved?
Well, the states police and oversee the casinos and the gaming, and that's all an entertainment business. We don't oversee entertainment.
He echoes the position of President Trump, who posted on social media this week it is critically important that the CFTC's exclusive authority over prediction markets is maintained. Mike Seelig, CFTC chairman and respected by all, is doing a great job.
People are saying there's insider trading in this or that, and if the CFTC doing its job, it would have caught this in 5 minutes. But a lot of these people have not given us any evidence.
Critics question whether his tiny office can keep pace with the staggering growth of prediction markets.
Do you have the horses?
There's a lot of news out there. We have the team we need to get the job done, and that's not really a concern.
The commission just brought an enforcement action against a Google employee charged with using inside information to make fraudulent Google-related bets on Polymarket. Before that, the commission had only brought 1 case this year.
But only 1 case brought so far, right?
Well, it takes a long time to bring an action. We have many that are in the pipeline. We have subpoenas out, of course.
So it sounds a little bit like there is some just inherent risk with these prediction markets.
You have the same dynamics as in any markets. There's always a risk that there could be somebody trading on insider information, but it's our job as regulators to take legal action there.
Please do not block his way.
Federal prosecutors last month charged a special forces soldier of using classified information to profit from the U.S. military raid that ousted Nicolas Maduro from Venezuela. The soldier has pleaded not guilty. Polymarket said in a statement that it surveils and monitors for insider trading and other illegal activity consistent with other markets, and has made nearly 100 referrals for suspected insider trading to authorities.
What happens to us spiritually when every moral question in this country just becomes a market?
The drumbeat of high-profile allegations of insider trading is already turning heads in Washington, eliciting a rare source of bipartisan cooperation.
There's a lot of momentum on both sides of the aisle on this.
The Republican-led House Oversight Committee last week launched a probe into the growing pattern of insider trading activity on prediction market platforms, and more than a dozen bills would limit how prediction markets operate.
I think their survival is at stake.
Dustin Gauker's a podcaster and blogger who covers prediction markets. He says Kalshi and other platforms now see insider trading as an existential threat.
I follow everything Kalshi does, and there's been a real change in how they approach this issue. 6 months ago, they were barely talking about insider trading. Now this is a huge part of their messaging.
It wasn't always that way.
Shane Copeland is the founder and CEO of Polymarket.
What's cool about Polymarket is that it creates this financial incentive for people to go and divulge the information to the market.
Not even that long ago, we are seeing people who are involved in prediction markets maybe advocating for insider information.
Call it the prediction market paradox.
The better the information is, the more useful it is to everything in the world, whether that's economic, whether it's geopolitical. But then we get to this world where we're actually having real-world cases of insider information being used in prediction markets. Why would I want to trade against people if they know the answers, right?
Kalshi says it welcomes regulation, and its own rulebook already addresses some of the concerns raised by lawmakers, like a ban on athletes and political candidates from using the platform.
It's a new product. I think with new products, it makes sense for the public to wonder, how does the system handle this new thing? The answer is never ban the thing. It's figure out how to properly regulate it the right way and make sure that the markets are safe.
Our thanks to Aaron. And now a look ahead at tomorrow's show. Activists plan to break into a facility to liberate thousands of beagles they say are the subjects of cruel and inhumane treatment.
So we started organizing very openly, saying to the sheriff, to the DA, look, these dogs need help. They're being hurt, they need to be helped.
Some hit with tear gas and rubber bullets, others arrested. Are they wrongdoers or rescuers? And when we come back, Oscar winner Brendan Fraser and multi-Emmy nominee Andrew Scott go head-to-head in a stormy new movie about World War II's D-Day. What the actress who famously leaned into his star turn in The Whale says he did to become Dwight Eisenhower.
Oh, I went full metal jacket. Just
Welcome back. As we approach the big America 250 celebration, comes a film commemorating the two heroes of D-Day. Playing them, Two modern-day screen giants, Oscar winner Brendan Fraser and BAFTA and Olivier winning actor Andrew Scott. They told my Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang they went deep into the heads of their characters and took the audience along for the ride.
The final decision on the timing of D-Day will be mine, and mine alone.
Brendan Fraser bringing General Eisenhower to life on screen, the legendary leader on D-Day during World War II.
Is it true, Brendan, that you didn't want to play Ike at first and that Anthony Maris had to show you this picture to say, you know, you kind of look like this guy?
I always want a job. But I did ask what resemblance he saw in me and that iconic historic figure. And he sent me a couple of pictures on a Zoom call. And I went, okay, I can kind of see the resemblance.
The new film, Pressure, pushing the Academy Award winner into new territory.
You were asked to shave your head in order to be a little bit more Ike-like. How did that...
The moment of truth? Sitting in the barber chair? Oh, I went full metal jacket.
And did it help you get into the right headspace?
It made me more aerodynamic. Fate of the war hinges on this. All the pieces of the jigsaw are in place. There's only one imponderable that remains. I need a forecast.
Fraser's 3-decade-long career in Hollywood launched as the beloved wild man in George of the Jungle.
When lion brush last?
Then as the dashing adventurer Rick O'Connell in The Mummy.
Mummies.
And returning to prominence in his stunning portrayal in The Whale.
Look, I didn't plan for this. She needs some help in school, so I'm gonna help her with a few essays.
Now teaming up with the award-winning actor Andrew Scott, the Irishman, portraying the unsung hero, Chief Meteorologist James Stagg.
We must face the facts! The facts! However frightening they may be!
Andrew, you were dubbed the hot priest in Fleabag.
Be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord.
You have a long list of credits. I particularly loved you as Moriarty. You also had a really small role, also set in Normandy, in Saving Private Ryan.
I did, yes.
Was this sort of a full circle moment for you?
Yeah, do you know, it really was. I've had a little bit of experience with World War II now, and Saving Private Ryan. Tom Hanks rolled over me in that, and I screamed, and that was me done.
Fate of the war hinges on this.
Pressure, a portrait of the tense final 3 days of preparation for D-Day, as forces of Mother Nature nearly jeopardized the consequential invasion.
The storms that I'm talking about are real, and the wrath of nature is real.
I love the quote that JFK asks Eisenhower later, years later, what was the key to D-Day?
He said, we had better weathermen than the Germans.
I feel like people don't think about the weather in relation to D-Day, which it's extraordinary to me.
There is one scene where you barge in on him, and you're basically screaming at him, and you're holding your ground-ish.
Forecast you gave, was that the view of the British and the American teams?
It was the view of the Allied Meteorological Unit.
Don't give me that mealy-mouthed crap!
What was going through your mind as you're playing that?
Well, I think it's exactly that he just held his mind. He's trying to think logically and without too much emotion.
James Stagg is a boulder in the stream. He's there to speak truth to power, and he has science, fact, and data on his side.
This film is being released on the 82nd anniversary of D-Day, and you know, folks in this country are thinking a lot about patriotism, all of that, 250 years, etc. What does this film, if anything, evoke for you?
It makes me think a little bit about the humility of leadership. The people in this story all were thinking about the greater good.
Well, I think we should learn from the past, and if past is prologue, we should ask ourselves again why.
Fraser's career enjoying something of a renaissance, not just with historical gravitas, but with lots of fun, revisiting one of his signature characters.
The internet has gone crazy with the idea that there's a Mummy reboot. Tell me about how that feels and what the Mummy might mean to you.
It feels affirming and funny to me. And what the Mummy means is that we'll have a chance to give the fans what they've been hounding us for the last 20, 25 years now.
Will you be doing your own stunts again?
I'm maybe telling the stuntman, dude, you're going to be great in this shot.
Our thanks to Juju. Pressure hits theaters tomorrow. When we come back, from Iraq to North Korea, Martha Raddatz, the intrepid ABC News correspondent, turning the spotlight on the bravest among us. And finally tonight, a portrait of inspiration, the men and women who've answered the call. My Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang sat down with ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, who just last night was honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award at the News and Documentary Emmys and has written a new book, The Hero Next Door, Stories of Patriotism and Purpose.
The fabulous Martha Raddatz, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Your book really brings to life a lot of the men and women and their families who make sacrifices. One of the chapters is Gold Star Family. Why did you want to delve into that level of sacrifice?
I think one of the things I really wanted to do is kind of turn the clock backward. I have met a lot of people, this Gold Star family, I met more than 20 years ago. I know them intimately. I just want to remind people, not only of the families, but of the service members, of things that happened long ago, that people are still affected by that. The Arciaga family still has 2 sons who died. And they have lived with that, and they have tried to find purpose, and they have tried to find good in that. And I think that explains a lot of the people in this book, but it's so important that people remember that.
You also talk about a very good friend of yours, Captain Rosemary Mariner. She actually appeared on Nightline back in the 90s.
She did. She was a fighter on Congress, on television, anybody who would listen, to get those women to have equal treatment. Rosemary Mariner, first of all, was the woman who helped get females in combat positions in aviation. But when I first met her, I was at some sort of gathering of people, and I saw Rosemary off to the side, and no one was in uniform or anything there, and I just assumed she was somebody's wife. She was pregnant. Like, this is me saying that, so it was sort of like, oh gosh, I can't make that mistake ever again.
I'll take my foot out of my mouth now.
Yeah, I'll take my foot out of my mouth, and she said, I'm a Navy tactical pilot. And I'm like, oh, my bad.
Exactly.
And we just became very, very close. She was just such a trailblazer.
And a dear family friend over the years. But there's another young woman who is her legacy in many ways.
Danielle Theriot and several other female aviators, but especially Danielle, pushed to have the first Navy all-female flyover at Rosemary's funeral in 2019. Farmland in Tennessee, and these jets come roaring over with Rosemary's legacy. And meeting those pilots, and especially Danielle, I wanted to write about her because I know Rosemary would be so proud of her.
You talk a lot about putting a human face on war. We're in the midst of a war now. Talk a little bit about what that's like to cover or not cover the war in Iran.
It's very, very different. We have not, no one has really seen our troops out there. I completely understand that it's difficult to get reporters out to ships or at military bases, but we have not seen any of it. We've had the occasional press conference at the Pentagon, but I think it's so important to see our service members, what they do, and the sacrifice they made.
And that is what this book is all about, The Hero Next Door. Martha Raddatz, thank you.
Thank you, Juju.
For all that you do.
And you. Thank you.
Juju and Martha, 2 of my favorite people on earth. And that's Nightline for this evening. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.